Remember when everyone would ask you when you were little, what do you want to be when you grow up? And now we're grown up and don't know what we're doing with our lives? Hi, my name is Madeline, and I am a college and career life coach. I help high school students, college students, and other young adults navigate the confusion that is life after graduation. Whether it's choosing your first career path or changing to a new career path, I am here to help you figure out what it is that you are doing with your life. So, welcome, get comfortable, and let's hang out together. Welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. I have another question from the FAQ series today. But before I get started, I feel like the last few episodes I have just been rushing into the topic because I'm so excited. But how have you been? What have you been up to? I would love to hear from you. Send me an email or a message on social media. Let me know how you've been, what you've been up to, what your favorite thing from the podcast has been lately. I would love to hear back from you. So, yeah, hit me up. I will lend you my ear, and I can't wait to hear from you. Our question of the day is: what is a good way for a kid out of high school to pick a career? This is how the question is worded. I would rather say student than kid because when I was in high school, I didn't feel like a kid and I didn't like being called a kid. This is obviously a question from a parent, but I will say what is a good way for a student out of high school to pick a career? Firstly, I would say do all you can to educate yourself about the different careers that are out there for you. Some of those things that you can do look like attending job fairs, doing research on different career clusters, talk to people from a variety of career paths, take some career interest quizzes like my free career personality quiz that I will link below. All of these things can at least show you what all is out there and help you narrow down some of the options. If you have a certain career field in mind, find someone in that career, network with them, ask them questions, see if you are able to job shadow. You can make sure you like the career by shadowing, and you'll have a contact to use to your advantage down the road when you may be applying to colleges or careers. Well, I guess I should say jobs and not careers, but you get what I mean. Immerse yourself in that path as much as you can, though. And if you're choosing between a couple different careers, do this with as many careers as possible. Create a pros and cons list of the career, saying what you like and what you don't like about it. I'm telling you, I swear by a pros and cons list. Like, I used a pros and cons list to decide whether or not to quit my job. So it is very helpful to use a pros and cons list because you basically put everything out on paper, all of your reasons to do something and all of your reasons not to do something. You can see it all laid out on paper. It's a great visual, but also you can see whether the pros literally outweigh the cons. And you, for me, I knew what decision I wanted to make because there were more pros to that decision than cons to that decision. I would 10 out of 10 recommend that method because I find it very helpful. Hopefully, you do too. And it doesn't even have to be used just for career comparison. Like, you can also do that for narrowing down what college you want to go to. Let's say that you're choosing between being an astronaut and going to the military. On one page, you can imagine what your life would look like going to school to be an astronaut, becoming an astronaut, what all that lifestyle would entail, right? How it would affect your life. Write about it. Imagine it. Write down what it would look like. Then do the same thing for going to the military. Imagine what it would be like. Figure out how it would affect your lifestyle. Write down what a day in your life would look like in that career field. then you can take those two things and figure out which one feels more like you and something that you would enjoy. This exercise kind of helps you figure out what you do and don't want your life to look like. And when you put that on paper, speak it out loud or think through it at least, you are becoming more clear on what you do and don't want for yourself long term. So that is something I probably wish I would have done, because I feel like I just chose a career just because it was available to me and not because I actually matched with it. And also, don't be afraid to take your time with choosing a career. Take all the time you need to. Take time off if you need to think everything through and discover new things and experience new things. Consider all of your options before moving forward. I will take nursing, for example. For nursing, you could go a variety of paths to get the same education. So compare the different programs at a university with the ones at a community college or a medical trade school, because they have the same nursing programs at all of those places. They may look a little bit different, which is what helps you decide which one is best for you, but essentially it gets you to the same place in pretty much the same amount of time. So make sure you explore all of those options before deciding, because you might find a program that suits you better that you would rather pursue, and it might could save you a little money if you're looking for that. But if you are undecided and you're still trying to figure out what you want to do, you can do a general studies program if you want to move forward with your education without knowing what career you want to do for sure. Or you can go into a university as undecided, undeclared. I think there's an exploratory major where you can take a variety of classes to help you figure out what you like and what you don't like. So, whatever the case may be for you and the college that you are going to, you can do that as well if you'd rather get the ball rolling and kind of figure things out later. If you don't want to go to college without knowing what you want to do, you can take time off. You can work a part time job during this time, which further helps the decision and understanding of the likes and dislikes when it comes to a job. You'll figure out if you want a job to have a higher pay, if you want it to have a flexible schedule, if you want to be able to take time off if you need time off, if you want to work on your feet or sit at a desk, if you want to work in the service industry or do something that does not put you in contact with the public, because that's totally understandable. Whatever the case may be, you will figure out which of those things matches with you and which of them doesn't. But also try new things. Take a salsa lesson, paint a picture, do a sip and paint if you're 21 years old and up. Skydive if you can. Whatever random things you can do to expand your horizons, do it. Because I promise you, even if it doesn't lead you to your next career path, it could lead you to something that you are extremely passionate about and want to make a hobby out of. So yeah, you never know what could come of those situations. I don't personally feel like anything bad can come from trying something new. So go for it. When you take the time to figure it out, you more than likely won't have to waste any extra time having to start over in a new career, because you'll actually know what you'll enjoy the first time when you choose it. So that leads to a lower risk of wasting time, energy, and money. And I just think it's great. Some people are in such a rush, they want to get it over with. I get that. And if you know exactly what you want to do, go for it, get it over with. But if you don't know, I don't feel like it's going to serve you to rush into something. Just remember that exploring yourself will never steer you wrong. So, here are some things that you need to know about yourself in order to find a career path that is in alignment with all the things that you want out of life, what you're interested in, so on and so forth. The first one is know your interests, specifically your career interests, like what your career personality is. Again, I have a quiz for that. I will drop it in the show notes. It's free, so just take it. It's like 10 questions. You don't have to take very long on it, and it will give you a result of what your career personality is and the different career clusters or pathways or whatever you want to call it that correlate with that interest. But also knowing what your general interests are, whether it's like reading, writing, things like that, will help push you in the right direction as well. Know your strengths, weaknesses, and limitations. You could have a strength or weakness in one of the following skills like writing, math, organization, public speaking or teaching, arts and creativity, problem solving, teamwork, and self motivation. Some people are more organized than others. Some people enjoy it, some people hate it. Public speaking. I hate public speaking. Now, granted, I'm also a singer, so I could sing in front of thousands of people no problem. But if you ask me to speak in front of them unscripted, are you joking? I might pass out or have a panic attack or something. I don't know. All I know is that my face will be as red as a tomato and I will be sweaty and nervous. So do not ask me to public speak. So that's an example of something that is a weakness of mine because I do not enjoy public speaking at all, at all. And then with knowing your limitations, like I talked about it before, I believe, but I didn't realize how important it was going to be to me to not have a job that required physical labor until I got put in a job. Well, didn't get put there, I asked for it. But until I started a job where physical labor was required for almost all 8 hours of the shift, 5 days a week. And I was extremely tired and exhausted, and I felt like I was running my body into the ground. And I started getting sick more often. And I just didn't like it. And I realized, you know what? I should have been real with myself because had I asked myself before I applied to this career if this was something I wanted, I probably would have said no. But I was willing to do it anyway because I felt like I had something to prove because I was a new grad and because that was the nature of the career path. So, knowing your limitations and your weaknesses, but also knowing your strengths because knowing all three of those things is going to point you in the right direction of a career that corresponds with what you like and what you don't like, or what you can do and what you can't do. The last one, know your career deal breakers. A deal breaker is something that you are willing to or not willing to put up with in any situation in life. So, a career deal breaker is what you will and will not do in your career path, basically, or will and will not put up with. So, it's kind of like the needs you have that you want the career to meet. So, if you want a career with guaranteed 2 weeks PTO, if you want a career that has a flexible schedule, if you want a career that has a set schedule that you don't have to work overtime, you don't have to work outside of your scheduled hours, that could be a deal breaker. And I've said it before, but a lot of times you don't know what those deal breakers are until you've experienced a full time career path and figured out what you do and don't like. But if you've ever worked before, you probably have a general idea of what that looks like. So, even coming up with one or two things could help you decide what path or what job specifically would be right for you. And you know what? If all else fails, you can come to me. I'm here. And I offer a free 30-minute call where we can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. We will discuss multiple solutions and figure out a path that fits you best and solves your problem the best. If you're struggling with picking a career, we can talk about what your interests are, figure out multiple career paths that might be a good fit, narrow them down, and make a game plan to pursue whichever one of those that you want to pursue. Or if you're having trouble figuring out where to go to college or how to go about tackling the career that you want to pursue, we'll make a game plan. We'll pick out a few different colleges, a few different programs, do a pros and cons list if you want to, figure out which one is the best fit for you, and make a game plan to go for it. If you are stuck in a career path that you don't want to be in, like I was, we will talk about what other career paths you may be compatible with, how you might be able to make that transition out of one job to the next, or what your next steps need to be, whether it's applying to school to get trained for a new career path, or if it's finding a job that will match with what you want. Whatever it is, I offer a free 30-minute call to discuss your situation. No commitment required, no strings attached. We just sit down and talk for 30 minutes, come up with a little mini game plan, and I tell you, what I think you should be considering and what you could possibly pursue from there. And that just kind of gives you a taste of what coaching is like with me so that you can try before you buy, essentially. You can give it a try before you commit to paying for sessions with me. And yeah, I just cannot wait to see how I can serve you. So I will leave that link below where you can learn more about the coaching that I offer, and the link within that where you can sign up for your free call. So, with that being said, reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm happy to talk to you, happy to answer your questions. Y'all better be sending me those updates that I asked for in the beginning of the episode. So, I will be waiting to hear from you. Until then, stay safe and let's hang out again soon.